Go into gallery view. Welcome everyone. Gabby's going to join soon. Just a quick call today to talk about Diamond Club and then and some contacting, which has been inspiring me, and then come to your questions. But first, I'll take a deep breath in and out. I'm diffusing some peppermint. It's so good. Inhale and exhale. Let's just take one more. Let's open your eyes. And Jen and Erica, you guys have to know that you are both unicorns and that you are amazing. And anyone else who takes the time and makes the time to watch this later is also amazing, because that is the challenge, right? With something like doTERRA, which is, it comes under what Stephen Covey calls important but not urgent. We know that if we put a time and attention on it, it can change our lives in such a huge way. But it's not immediate gratification. So it takes discipline and it takes creating habits to really get there. And if you have listened to Ange Peters' latest podcast on making those habits, practicing them, that's what's so key. And that's what I find is making the difference and inspiring me in my business. At the beginning, it takes discipline and it's hard, but now it's become just my habit that if I'm traveling somewhere, just like on the metro in Montreal, I'll be listening to an Ange Peters podcast. And I take some time to learn from my mentors in the morning, whether it's an Elena video or now I'm in Diamond Club. So Diamond Club learning. So getting up a bit earlier and just receiving that to keep the momentum going and to not ever be in the state where I'm like, what do I do now? Just always keep that mentorship and that learning so it can come through really easily. So Diamond Club is happening for me this month. And what does that mean for you guys? What it means is that I'm incentivized to connect with you guys and really show up for you in a meaningful way. So doTERRA incentivizes me for the trips that are outside of Montreal. Welcome, Gabby. So good to see you. For the trips that are outside of Montreal, they pay for part of my travel. And the strategy, I just learned this morning, when you guys eventually all do Diamond Club in a year or two, it's not to necessarily like travel all over the world, go here, there, and there. Is really pick like 2 people or 3, not people, but areas that you return to every month. And by doing that, you're really building leaders and being there with people. And I spoke to Gabby yesterday and she says, yes, this connection is what really helps. And our video connection helps, but in person, learning together, doing road trips, doing classes, you'll really leverage your leaders. And that's eventually what we want, because it's more fun to be working with team members that get it, that are excited and that are independent and doing it. And also that's how we build our residual income. That's how we get the oils into more people's hands and homes. So for those of you you guys are all, well, Gabby, you're not local, but for Erica and Jen, and Erica, I don't know, are you 90 kilometers outside Montreal? Not quite, eh? Maybe. Okay, well, let's check that, because you might count as an out of town person, which would be really cool, because then I can do a visit. But basically, any enrollments you do, as long as I'm in Diamond Club and don't get kicked out, I have to do 10 enrollments to stay in this month. Anyone you enroll, you need to do it through my portal. It's still your enrollment. You still get the fast start. It's all yours, but it just goes through my Diamond Club portal, which is just a website. And then your enrollment gets a free grapefruit this month if it's more than 100 PV LRP, and they get a free grapefruit and balance if it's more than 400 PV LRP. So how would you do that? It's just if you enroll somebody, just take it down on paper and then send it to me and I can do it through the portal. because you have to be logged in. This is for the local people. First, for Gabby, if I know what's sitting for you right is that I don't come and visit, but if that changes between March, April, May, and I'm still in Diamond Club, how it works then is that we have to do a class together. And this is, Jen, good to learn for you too, because this will apply to Judith and Serge. We do a class together, and I need to have the names and emails of everyone that was at that class, and it goes into this back office sheet or portal. And then the people need to enroll within 3 days of the class for them to count for Diamond Club. This is for the away classes. So the incentives are, yes, the enrollment incentives are really good for them, but I'm watching lots of videos from people who won Diamond Club. The people that win Diamond Club are like crazy. They enroll like 50 to 100 people a month. Like they live out of their car. Like some people just go totally, balls to the wall. And they said they give lots of extra little goodies because it's just so worth it. So they'll give extra incentives, which I will bring to do classes with you. I will be donating part of my doTERRA paycheck to get all those extra oils, because the way that I'm able to travel and do everything is that Elena and Nicole and Marcy have donated part of their Fast Start bonuses for me to travel. So that's where I get part of my train or my plane tickets paid for. It's out of their paycheck. So it's like a pay it forward kind of thing. And yeah, the winning Diamond Club is pretty huge. You win, the first prize is I think it's like $1,000 off a flight for 2 to 3 people for a sourcing trip with Emily Wright to somewhere very exotic in the world. And then second and third prize are the same sort of thing. But yeah, they're like hundreds of enrollments per month. So what I'm asking is that if you guys have classes this month, please let me come to them and co-teach them and help out and help invite. And if you don't, let me help you get some on your schedule. And so it's a great opportunity because I have lots of classes under my belt and I'm constantly being fed from my mentors. So that's what Diamond Club is. I want to talk about contacting, but I'm feeling like I want to go to your questions first, or just go to just where you're at. If you're feeling stuck, we have a pretty nice small group now, so you can just, whatever questions or whatever goal you have this month that you're trying to get to, or block you're trying to get over. I just want to hear where you guys are at. So whoever wants to unmute and let me know. So good to see you, Erica. It's been so long.
Hello.
Hey, Gab.
Morning. I just wanted to unmute quickly and thank you for yesterday's call, yesterday afternoon. It really just felt, it was just helpful to be able to talk through I think I just needed to vent and talk through kind of that ickiness from last week. But after we chatted, I took a shower, which was super helpful. And then I played with my oils a bit and just kind of, I think I just kind of breathed. Can you say that? Breathed? I breathed and it felt really good. And I'm just feeling better. I'm feeling better also about kind of February because I have a lot of projects on the go right now in terms of doTERRA, things that I'm planning. I have a second EO 101 class planned. I also have a sort of EO 101 class I think I told you about with my yoga peeps coming up. And I'm also planning kind of a huge Mother's Day fundraiser, which I think is going to be really fun. So I just wanted to thank you for yesterday because I'm bouncing back a little bit, and it is so important to have that connection. I think last week when I was like a little bit down in the dumps, I kind of like set up camp there and was like, oh, it's so icky down here. Why don't I stay for 4 days and just wallow in self-pity? And it's good to not be in that anymore. I had 3 questions that I posted to the forum, and I haven't gotten any info back. So if you guys have any info, the first question was if you guys have any links or hints on places where you get your accessories. I know yesterday, Jen, you were mentioning Amazon, and I went and like looked through Amazon a little bit yesterday, but didn't find as much like variety and stuff as the one place that I had been ordering from that I think I won't probably be ordering from anymore.
I'll give some context. We'll usually do My Essential Business, but Gabby just had some bad experience where things weren't working. A roller exploded. The shipping's really expensive because she's in Gaspésie. So I was looking for an alternative just for now, because it just seemed like nothing was working with My Essential Business. It was just like,
yeah. And I'm actually just waiting to see kind of how they deal with the most recent situation. I mean, maybe it'll just be really great and it'll work out and I'll continue working with them, but it's always good to shop around. So if you guys have any suggestions. I was also looking, I'm kind of like compiling a list of my favorite go-to self-care and self-nourishing activities to kind of help when I come up against roadblocks or creative blocks. So if you guys have any like favorite self-care rituals, I would love some suggestions, because I've kind of been doing my go-to self-care rituals, but it's always nice to kind of like step out of that. And then my last question, which is a little more technical, is what are the rules in terms of if I do want to start signing people up under me and building a team? Are there rules in terms of what family member, like what the degree of separation is in terms of you being able to put family members on your team?
The only person you cannot put on your team is your husband or wife.
Okay.
If you're married, you need to have one account. That's a rule that they have. But mothers, kids, cousins,
all that,
it's totally fine. And what a lot of the top leaders do is they create like a ghost account. So a ghost account could be like, let's say I set up an account with my mom's info and her credit card.
Yeah.
Even her social insurance number. But she's not really building, like I'm building. Right. But then set it up until, this is what they do, until their kid is 18. And then when their kid's 18, they put them under it so then they can start, like it works as like a saving fund kind of thing. Cool. You can do that for anyone in your life. And I've actually started it for my brother. I will say running a ghost account, it definitely, like if they're positioned somewhere that you need them for like your power of 3 or something, be prepared that you'll have to pay their LRP. So the first like year that I did that for my brother, it was a bit like heavy to pay his and mine. But now I placed him in such a great spot. So he's an elite, but he's making at least like $250 a month, like on that account. And it goes into an AR balance. So now I can just order his oils for free, which have now become free oils for myself that I'm using to grow the business.
Amazing.
So it's like everything at doTERRA. There's like initial investment, but then it's really awesome because and then keep in mind there's the 250 in like dollars, but then he's also getting another like 50 or 60 PV every month as well. So he has a lot of points. So I have like all these oils that I can kind of play with or pull from to like send as gifts or build or make things or whatever.
That's super interesting because I have 2 kind of contacts I think I mentioned to you that are interested in the oils and interested in possibly having their wholesale account. But the conversation is leaning more towards right now that they would not want to manage their account at all, that they would place monthly orders.
Okay.
So I could open an account for them, but they would want me to be the admin and they would want me to manage their LRP, which could be super interesting.
Yeah, I've done that before. And again, you
Yeah.
just have to do your self-care, do your downtime, because it is work. You're
Right.
logging in twice. You're having to keep things in your head straight. Like,
Yeah.
so just know that it will take energy, but it's awesome. Like, it's worth
Yeah.
the work for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely have some lessons to learn about like time management, because my huge like wholesale order from my first EO class, which was like, I placed an order of like 750 PB. It took me an entire afternoon to get it organized and like to know what the prices were and to know who I was charging what. And yeah, I just have to work on some time management stuff there
Yeah.
too.
And that's eventually when you'll go from the place. Like, that was sort of Erica's journey too. She got at a certain point so fed up with placing orders for everyone. She's like, I'm just going to start enrolling people because I
Yeah,
can't do this anymore. Like,
right.
because then it becomes way less work for us once we teach them how to do their own orders. It's just that initial training for them at the beginning, and it has to
Yeah,
have their willingness and their ulps and their overwhelm. You just have to be able to kind of like have a boundary, hold space for them to go through that, but most of them get it.
amazing. Thank you.
Welcome. And Erica has put a good resource for if you see that. Of course, there's the ones from the States, but I imagine like Aroma Tools or EOS, but I think it will be probably quite expensive to order to Canada. And self-care, these days I'm just like throwing some like ylang ylang and frankincense in the diffuser and doing a yoga nidra. Like, I'm doing a yoga nidra like every day because I'm so wound up and nervous for Diamond Club and all the travels I have to do and not getting enough rest. And so that's helping me a lot. Cool. Erica, I want to hear from you. It's been so long.
I know. I only have about a minute before I have to go because I
Okay.
pushed my 10 o'clock to 10:30 and I have to get to the West. But lovely seeing you.
I'm so happy you're here. So happy to
Yeah, things are good. I don't know if you want to come out to Hudson, but a girl under me, Olivia, she wants to do a essential oil workshop.
Yes, I do.
20th, I think, whatever the Wednesday is. So if you want to come out.
Of March or February?
February.
I'll be in El Salvador.
Okay, cool.
I'm gone from the 19th to March 1st, but March,
Cool.
I'm here.
Yeah, well, I just told her, like, because she has so many people under her, but I don't think she's giving them the information. So I told her, like, design a workshop, get all of those people to come, even if they've already joined, just to have a really clear, like, knowledge base on 5 top oils and then the business.
Okay.
So that's what I'm up to this month.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. And are you feeling like, I know you have to run, so we can hop on another just quick like class call. Like, I find it's really useful to come back to like, what's the outline? How are you feeling with the like talking about doTERRA and not talking about it, getting like that close?
Yeah. Well, Lydia and I had a little meeting yesterday and we went over Elena Brower's like baseline. You know, she has that like on Facebook, her baseline like class.
Yeah.
So we went over that and
amazing.
I feel pretty confident about it.
Okay, good. Yeah, you've been
I'm getting there.
Doing amazing.
Okay, so it was so good to see you all.
Yeah, great to see you.
Have a good day.
And we'll chat for March, April, May classes.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, Erica. And Jen, I know we were chatting this morning, but if there's other things, we didn't really get into your zone. We were just focusing on the Judith class.
Yeah, in my zone, I'm still noticing fears for like the basics for inviting. You sent that email about contacting, or that video, and I was able to start to watch the first few minutes, but I'm going back today to watch that. I feel that that's something that I'm just looking for. So I'm just simply aware of I'm just keep noticing what the habits that keep popping up of, if I feel nervous about talking to somebody, or where, like, I'm just very aware of where my where I need to create changes and consistency in certain areas. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay, good. And let's talk about contacting, because this is what blew my mind. So I'll send it to you too, Gabby. it's the Alysse Sedivy. I don't know if you know who, or Alysse Sedivy. She's like one of the first like big presidential diamond leaders. She's like a third time presidential diamond leader. So she's making more like 300 or 400K per month. And she lives in Prague with her family. You know, she's next level. But also to have, you know, lots of self-love is that she was a sort of like she had a business with her husband before, and they were like, I want to do something residual. So they sought out doTERRA and they looked for the best compensation plan in network marketing and the best product. And they found doTERRA. Like, so she was very intentional, and she has those skills in that training. So let's remember that. But her video blew my mind. And what she says is, we all hate contacting. We all have fear around it. We all feel icky. And she's like, of course. And she's really funny. And she's like, you know, in doTERRA's land, we talk about you make 2 contacts a day and 2 follow-ups a day. And that's how you'll like rank advanced. So it's like 2 new contacts, 2 people you need to follow up with. So she's like, okay, your 2 new contacts, like you'll be in the grocery store and you see someone buying healthy cereal and you're like, ooh, health conscious. They might want oils. Then you go up and you're like, ooh, I see you're like cereal with fiber. Did you know that these oils can really help you? And and you start talking about it. And she's like, how is the other person going to feel about you when you leave? They're going to think you're crazy. And how are you going to feel? You're going to feel like really weird, and you're not going to want to do that again. And then you're going to be like, okay, I did 1. I just have to do 1 more. And then she like makes a joke that you try to start talking to the cashier about oils. And like, she's like, that's never going to work. And she says, then she tells a story about meeting someone on a plane who was clearly like, she was flying first class. He was clearly quite wealthy. And she just asked him about him. And again, watch the video to go more in depth. It's really worth the watch. It's 30 minutes. And asks him about his work and what he does. And, you know, so they talk about him for a while. And then after 15 minutes, he's like, well, what do you do? And she says, normally this is when people say, oh, great, this is the opportunity for me to talk about oils. She's like, I didn't. I asked more about him. And she's like, you need to be genuinely interested in people. And you really get to know people and really start to care about people. And then just by who you're being, they're going to think that you're an interesting person. So I'll stop paraphrasing her video. Go watch her video, but I'll talk about my personal experience. And like the cosmic timing is really interesting because I started to kind of pick up on this before I watched the video. So I feel like my psyche was ready for it. But I got invited to a baby shower. I was with you, Jen, before. And I went and I was like, you know, sometimes I don't love going to baby showers, but I was like, just go and have a great attitude, lovely people. And I was like, I'm just going to get to know somebody. Like, I'm just going to use this as an opportunity to expand my network because, you know, I've enrolled like over 100 people. I feel like my network is dry. Like I've enrolled everyone that I know and wants to enroll. So I just started talking to this girl, and she teaches handstands and she's a trainer, and like I use the oils. And then I was like, I'm just going to make it about her, but make it fun for me. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do like a private with you. You know, it's $60. That will be my self-care for like 2 weeks, you know? And so I did a handstand training with her, and it was super fun. And she was like, you know, it was so great to meet you. And like, please invite me to one of your next like events that you do. And I let her use some past tense, but I didn't get into it. I wasn't like, you could use these oils. You're a hustler, because she's a hustler. I didn't say anything. And I'm just starting to build a relationship with her. And always coming back to genuinely caring about her and genuinely like caring about the relationship first, because the oils might come like 2 years later. Like you just don't know. So that's what I just loved what she says about contacting. It's not like this sort of time frame, like impatient, I need to meet these people to invite them to my class. It's like, start just going for coffee with more people, like people that you actually have genuinely wanted to talk to, and start to get to know them. And maybe you won't even talk about doTERRA on the first coffee, or even the second, or maybe the third. And on the third, it might just be like, oh, I have a class. Like, can you share it with your friends? Like, don't even invite them, you know, just be like, oh, like promote this thing, and let it be really, like really focused on them, on getting to know about them. Because again, like, I love that doTERRA is doing this for me, because I'm like, you know, my feeling down in the dumps is like, I get very impatient and very agitated, and I'm just kind of whizzing through life, not taking the time to meet people. But because of this contacting, these tips, I'm like actually taking time and spending time, and people are really interesting, you know, like more than you think. And even last night when I taught it at a studio, the girl working the front desk, like, I don't normally talk to her, but I was like, no, just like get in the habit. And it turns out she's doing this big trip to BC, and she has this travel blog, and she had these awesome tips about Instagram. And like, I had no idea that she would be just such like an interesting person. And she loved to talk about herself, and she loved sharing her blog with me. She felt like, because people love to talk about themselves. So she felt really good. And now I know that we have a relationship that's continuing, that when I have a class or when it feels right, then I'll maybe sort of, you know, I'll ask her if she knows anyone that would like to come. Anyways, watch the Alysse Sedivy video, but does that take a bit of a weight off your shoulders with the contacting? Yeah. Doesn't it make it so much nicer?
You know what's so
yes.
funny? Yeah. Oh my God, hi Jen Wendy.
Hey, sweetie.
That actually, I'm just jumping on to say that resonates with me so much, because for me, and I think what you were saying yesterday about Jen K on when we called yesterday, when you were saying, you know, I've never, you know, it's rare that you see someone just dive in so quickly. Is that kind of connection to me is super authentic and easy to do. So maybe it seems like I jumped into, you know, doing this work and inviting people and chatting about doTERRA and stuff quickly, but in fact, that is what is natural to me, and that's what I love. So I think where I was blocking, especially on the builders thing, is that I didn't get into this project. I don't want this project exactly what you're saying. I never want it to become a situation where I am creating anxiety or stress around numbers, in terms of like, you have to contact 2 people and you have to, I would rather kind of follow what's more authentic for me, which is doing that amazing connection, chatting with people, and then letting it grow naturally, instead of trying to force my numbers to be a certain amount of people every day and a certain amount of follow-ups every day, you know. And I realize you have to do that as well to a certain extent, but I never want to force 2 conversations in a day if they don't make sense or if they're not authentic, just to meet those numbers.
Totally. Oh, I'm gonna have to go in 10 minutes because of the thing. But yeah, and like I mean, both of you are such heart-driven people that you get language of like, connect with people authentically. But I think they have that because some people aren't like that. The majority of people who do doTERRA like aren't the yogi world kind of people, you know. So that's just very concrete. And for me, I sometimes find that grounding, because I'm like, oh, that's all it is. Because I'm like, there's so many things to do. What do I do? I'm like, oh, if I just talk to 2 people and make 2 follow-ups, like that's all I had to do today. And that's like great. And so treat the numbers as a way to give you structure and grounding, as like a useful tool, not as something to create stress on yourself, for sure. Because I think also as movement people and coaches, like we meet more people than your average person, luckily. So we're naturally kind of, you know, creating those bonds.
I really look forward to watching that, because it makes me want to cry, like that thought, of course, like, because I like to be of service to people, and it's never felt natural, even with other things. And I know it's something that I need to work on in general, but when it does just flow, it flows so naturally and it's so powerful. And so just continuing to.
Oh, I can't hear you. Oh, you're muted. Oops.
I just said something so amazing.
There's too many handles, it's tough to mute you.
Yeah, just it just, yeah, like the what you just said makes me want to cry from happiness of how beautiful that is in anything. Just creating that about and working on the relationships and that too, like, and if you still want to quantify with talking to two people, then it's how do you build relationships with two people right now today?
Yeah,
You know, like
exactly.
you go and you ask, like Gabby's like amazing. She like, well, she'll Facebook me in the morning and be like, hey, how you doing? Or like,
Yeah.
you know, it's those little things like that that are just so amazing that you can do with somebody and pass that type of practice on along.
Oh my God.
That feels right to me, rather than trying to copy and paste the speech of, okay, I'm inviting you into something.
Totally.
Yeah, like whether it's doTERRA or anything, for me, it just does what never feels right. So.
That's it. And if this like woman who's making like $3 million a year is saying not to talk about doTERRA, then like it's got to be,
yeah,
that's got to be the key to it, that it's like genuine relationships and people just wanting to spend time with you. And if I think about my builders that are really into it, they're all people that joined because they like who I am.
Yeah.
You know? Like, because I mean, Jen, we had a friend, like we have a friendship that was based on that. And like Judith too, I mean, she was in our training, so she thought that was great. Like, Gabby, I met you through a Wonderlust, you know, like, so there are things where people kind of get to see your, like, I guess your character, your vibe, or what you're into. So if you don't have the chance to like teach someone a training or like teach them in that context, then it's going to be done through like interactions and listening and all these skills that we have as yoga teachers that making people feel listened to and getting interested in them.
Absolutely. And people naturally ask me like, oh, I'm going through this, or like friends are always like, ask, like, yeah, like, you know, like they're naturally asking you for solutions for things or parts of their lives. And so it can come up naturally. Well, this is what I do. Like,
yeah.
I think also one of the things, and I said this in one of the videos that I posted last week that has just been such a huge revelation for me, is on top of genuinely caring about people, because then they know that it's not just kind of this sales ploy to get them, you know, to get them to sign up, is also just, I think sometimes we go on the defensive because I think naturally we have certain defense mechanisms that come up when we're talking about this kind of project. And for a lot of us, we have invested time and money and all that stuff. But when you are able to share your love of the oils, when you're able to share anecdotes and stories about how the oils have affected your life without immediately afterwards being like, well, this worked for me, would you be interested in this? You know, if you can separate that and you can plant the seeds of, this is the beauty of these oils, these are what they've brought to my life, you plant those seeds, and when you're confident with your love and your respect for the company you're working for, then people are naturally drawn to that, instead of some sort of sales pitch where they, you know, people work hard and everybody has to be careful about their finances. So I've found in the past 2 months, anyone that I've gone to with a kind of, with the intention of, oh, I want to talk to them about doTERRA and send them and sell them oils or sell them a certain product, doesn't work.
Yeah.
The people who I've approached in an authentic way that I've shared my story with are the ones who are excited and who want to learn more, who want to do classes, who, you know.
Yeah. So true. Oh my God. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's like, it just takes a weight off.
Huge weight off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was so good. I'm going to rewatch that video and you guys watch it too. I'll send it to you right now, Gab.
Amazing.
And I'm around next Tuesday. So let's do office hours again next Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you guys, it might get cut off, so I'm sorry if we get cut off. In the Crossline Miracle Manifestors, if like, is that group working for you? Are there too many groups? I know there's like too many groups. No, it's too much.
It's not working for me.
Okay.
But it's not, I say it's not working for me. I still try and stay in touch, but I'm not finding myself as, like, every day I'm looking in Essential Practice, and that's an amazing resource. And I'm also doing Oil Camp.
Yes.
So I feel like those two are big for me, but the Crossline group, I'm not feeling as like attached to right now.
Okay. That's thank you. Good feedback.
Yeah. I haven't figured out my new schedule in time to look at anything in it. Like I haven't been it's not just that group. I haven't been in Essential Practice. I haven't been in any of the groups.
Okay.
So I've been leaning more on talking to you in person, and that I love the idea of it, and in the back of my mind it's making me want to do more because I want to prove to myself that I'm somebody who's in this.
Yeah.
So I'm just not in any Facebook groups at the moment.
Okay, no, it's good. That's good feedback. Okay, thank you guys. There's a lot happening, and in many ways it's just like it helps us, like the three of us running it, like it's making me be accountable to them. And anyways, we'll see how it goes. It's an experiment, so
I still would like you to keep it. It just takes time for us to like get into a new group. Not that like the content and what you're doing is amazing, but it's the like practice of going through, like there's so many I'm doing it.
I think the only thing that I'll just quickly add about the Crossline group is also that I'm realizing that the game part of it is a cute idea. I like that, except where I'm at and the things I'm focusing on right now aren't like validated in that format.
Right.
So I'm like going on and being like, I want to give myself 57 points for the week I just had, but I actually only get 6 points technically.
And that's like, okay, that's really good. So then it's not like, it's like demoralizing in a way.
It's demoralizing because I'm not keeping up, but it's because I have different intentions right now. You know?
Yeah.
So
okay, I'm gonna tell the girls.
Yeah.
Thank you. I remember when I started, there was like a sort of game thing going on, and I had to track my points every day, and it was like day after day, it was like 0, 0, 0. And it was like, oh my God. Because it was like, how many people did you share with? How many people did you enroll today? And it was like, but all different kinds, yeah. 0, 0, 0. Hey, love you guys. Thanks.
Have a great week. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.